right, what is up, everybody? Divine Hood here, coming at you with another daily update on Bitcoin and the crypto markets. Welcome in, everybody. Happy Friday to you all. Peoria Beat, much love to you. Yeah, Pampit, you know what? We did make new highs today. What I'm seeing here is a bit concerning that we did not grab liquidity. And it means we could come a little bit higher or even break out. When you see a failed SFP like this and you see a bit of a retracement down, the next time you're likely to bust through it. So that is something I'm wondering and worrying about, but we are at very key resistance. And we do have some bear divs on the chart. If we zoom out to the 2-hour chart, we do have bear divs forming on Market Cipher, bear divs on NAMI. Money flow is draining out on NAMI, crossing into the red. We even have money flow diving over on Market Cipher B as well. So we'll have to see. This is our key decision point that I talked about. Darksby19, what's up, man? Welcome in. They call me the king. Happy Friday to you as well. Travy Trades, what's good, brother? Sorry about causing mischief in the tele. Yeah, dude, no worry, man. Travy Trades, the Telegram's about, throwing out different ideas, just all different sorts of things. So no, please, no worries about that at all, okay? Eric, much love to you. Good to see you in here. Shogun Crypto, the music is so dramatic. I love it. Well, we got to get that dramatic YouTube flair, right? All right. Well, Alex, welcome in as well. So guys, yesterday we talked about how this is a very key decision point for Bitcoin. We have two volume profiles that we're looking at. So we have our 2.5 month long range that we've been in since the beginning of June. And we are coming up to the value area high of that range. Let me just extend this real quick here. We are coming up to the value area high, and you can see we're hitting the value area high of the range. Now, if we do reject from here, there is a possibility of moving down to the value area low at 61K. We do have weakened double bottoms at 62.2, and there is a real opportunity that we continue the bearish price action here. Even though we've made it almost up to changing some market structure by taking out the high, we have not done it yet. We're also at a very, very key golden pocket. If we pull a golden pocket from 67K all the way down to our lows at 62.2, you can see that our golden pocket is in our current zone right now. So we're at the value area high. We're at the golden pocket. We also have the weekly level that's in here. Weekly level at 65,341. And we even have I believe it was a naked daily point of control. Or actually, I think that's it for that. Value area high, golden pocket, SFP, and a weekly. But it is very tough resistance right here. This is kind of where our big confluence of resistance is. Now, we have been able to flip both the POC of the range and then the anchored VWAP of the range into support. So that is locally bullish for Bitcoin, and we are maintaining bullish market structure here. But knowing that we're coming up to kind of that big key resistance where if we are going to reject and create a big dump to the downside, this is the area where I would expect it to occur. We do have some confirmations to look for shorts. Now, I am not in a short yet, and I did post in the Telegram earlier today that if we do lose the VWAP, I will look to short this. I have not shorted it yet. I have almost before the stream, I was about to short the rejection of the VWAP after losing it, but I have not done that yet. And the only thing keeping me from shorting right now is that we didn't grab liquidity up here. And I checked a couple different exchanges, even on the Bybit exchange, we did not grab that liquidity. You can see the high is at 65,318. And then if we look at our high here, it's at 65,316. So it's a $2 difference. And we are really seeing a lot of these double bottoms, guys, and double tops on the chart. And of course, we didn't grab liquidity. Actually, on Bybit, we did, but on Coinbase, we didn't grab liquidity at the 62.2K lows, yet we still were able to pump quite a bit, quite aggressively, a few $1,000s. So is there a chance that we don't take this liquidity and we see a major dump here? It makes sense as far as continuing bearish market structure. And locally, within the past week or so, our market structure locally is bullish, making higher highs and higher lows. But our overall larger market structure is still bearish, making lower highs and lower lows. And so it's pretty much the key decision point, right? Key decision point for Bitcoin. Are we going to break out of the value area high of the range? If we can break out of this and close a daily level above the value area high, there is a real chance of coming up to around $67,400, $67,500. where we would take out our range highs, our 67K highs, and we would come up into a point of control and a naked daily point of control that we have up there. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. We are going into the weekend. Now, in some ways, it's good that we're going into the weekend as we're hitting resistance, because you don't really expect to see a lot of aggressive price action going into the weekend, like a giant dump to the downside going into the weekend. But we have to be aware that some of the weekend price action has been a bit aggressive, and especially with what's happening geopolitically and everything like that. Some of these things tend to happen on the weekend when markets are closed for the least impact on the markets. So that's another kind of aspect we have to keep in mind there. All right, let's see here. Hope everyone is positive for today and for the week. Yep, pretty good, Alex, and I hope you are as well, man. I know you've been nailing some good trades there. I got in that short. It was the level weekly value area high golden pocket from 67K top. Yep, Peoria beat. That was the level we were looking at, this area right here. So if you're in that short, I would definitely hold that short open, because especially if we remain below that VWAP, our daily VWAP, and if we start to lose the anchored VWAP, man, that's going to be really quite a bearish sign, in my opinion. No, welcome in, my friend. Thank you so much for being here. Decrypto, good afternoon to you. Quiles 1100, hola to you as well. Also, Divine, I went a put 100 on SYN at 10 cents at 10x. So let's see how that goes. Yeah, SYN, by the way, we covered this yesterday. SYN was breaking out of the channel, but we were due for that pullback. Hold on, SYN USDT. And we were looking for a pullback to a golden pocket or the 786, kind of to back test that channel that we were breaking out of, right? We were in this big descending channel here. We hit the golden pocket. We were starting to see a breakout. So I want to see kind of the back test. And then if we can hold on that back test, we can see continuation up to new local highs. And really, this thing looks so squeezable to me, all this descending channel to the downside, because clearly this is impulsive price action here. Now, this does look pretty aggressive as well, but we do have impulsive price action. We did break market structure bullishly by taking out some lower highs. So now, because we broke market structure bullishly, we can look for a higher low before making a higher high. And that's why we were looking kind of at trades in this general area between the golden pocket and the 786 here. I have an alert set on the 786 because the 786 is closer to our more macro golden pocket, and it is going to be closer to the back test of that channel. But we are at least seeing a reaction from that zone of the golden pocket 786. But you took a short, wait, let me see. What did you say? Yeah, puts on at 10 cents. All right. Do you see a possible divergence on the 2-hour and 4-hour RSI, or need to wait longer? Well, Amadali, I don't use the RSI. I use something similar. It's Market Cipher and NAMI, but we're looking at those bearish divergences. And if we go back to Bitcoin here, on Bitcoin, as we're coming up into our resistance area, our pretty much key confluence of resistance, we are seeing higher highs in the price action and potentially lower highs on Market Cipher on the 4-hour. We already confirmed one drive of bear div on NAMI, and if this momentum wave really rolls over, it will confirm another drive of bearish divs, and we also have money flow bearish divs locally here. So yeah, we do have some bear divs on the 4-hour chart here. If we go to the 2-hour chart, we also have 2-hour bear divs on NAMI and on Market Cipher. You can see Market Cipher, the bear divs, this momentum wave is topping out here. Money flow is kind of topping out and starting to curve to the downside. And you can see we have the bear divs with money flow crossing into the red here on on NAMI. So there is the confirmations to look for the short here. The one big thing is not grabbing liquidity. I would have really liked to see that liquidity grab there. And because we haven't grabbed liquidity, what I'm looking for is just one more kind of maybe push up to grab that. And then if we close the daily candle at or below the value area low, I would look for a pretty big dump to the downside. If we break above it and we don't see an SFP, then we could continue pretty bullishly here. We could continue to sweep some of the liquidity in here and then, really come up even to take out your 67K highs. And if we once again pull our golden pocket, and we'll also look at the 786 because we're at the golden pocket right now, but the other kind of key area to look at is a 786 Fibonacci. So if we look at that 786 Fibonacci, you can see it's going to be right above our second pivot of liquidity. And we kind of have this liquidity in here and this liquidity right next to it. So it's kind of double highs once again. Having this double highs right into that 786 Fibonacci could be another area of interest. But here's the scenario. If we break out and break up to this 786 area, I would be looking for no longer, let me just change this just to the 786. I would be looking for really a rejection from the 786 only to maybe back test that value area high. And if it starts holding, you could continue the break up. So we could still get a possible short from this zone, but I would at least look to TP some at the value area high just in case it does hold and continues to the upside. We'll get there if we get there, right? First, we're dealing with the main resistance that we're at right now, and we have to see what happens here. Going into the weekend, losing the VWAP, and if we see our daily candle on the daily time frame, if we see this daily candle kind of close back inside the volume profile here, or still inside the volume profile, I should say, there is a real chance that we could roll over here and see a move down to the value area low. We also have another volume profile, so let me just get rid of some of this now. Clean up this chart. We do also have a smaller volume profile. So let me go back to the 2-hour chart. And this is our larger 2.5 month long range, 5-6 week long range. We have our month long range that we've also been in. And if we look at this range right here, it's the same value area high. It's the same point of control, but the value area low is a bit lower. It's way higher, right? It's at $63,000 instead of $61,000. So first and foremost, I'm paying attention to this smaller volume profile. And then if we lose the value area low of this smaller volume profile, that's when I would expect that move down to around 61K. Let's pull our Fibonacci actually from the lows to the highs of our most current moves. Yeah, our 786 is going to be around there. We might have, let's go look at our naked dailies. Let's see if we have any naked dailies down there. We do have a little bit of a gap in here. No naked dailies though, really in this zone. And potentially our weekly naked point of control hasn't closed yet, but it is also a bit higher. Actually, it's going to be at the anchored VWAP. So closing above the anchored VWAP is just going to be somewhat bullish. All right, where was I? Jojo, welcome in. No, you took a small short at that level. Awesome, man. Well, if you're in the short, I would definitely be holding it, but cautiously and maybe protecting position. If we do start to break back above the VWAP, we could see one more move to the upside to kind of grab that liquidity. XRP, SFP soon. We'll check XRP out. We'll check. Also, guys, gold is coming up to a pretty nice level of resistance that I'm looking at. So we might be able to get a liquidity grab short on gold. And if we do get that short, I'll go into that when we get there. It wouldn't be like a huge short because gold has obviously some very bullish momentum right now. So it would be a wave 4 short where we'd be looking for a move down to like the 382. Just jumped in a long from 64.6. Stop below the last low, 64.6. Okay, nice. Well, all right, I see what you're looking at. We have our low here. You took a long around this low, stop below this low, and even targeting the highs, that's a 4.2 risk to reward. So that's a good scalp to be looking at, Travi. And because we didn't grab liquidity up here, there is a higher chance that we could come up there. Now, another thing you should watch out for, though, is if we look at this move down that we've seen throughout the day, you are going to have the value area high resistance right around a Fibonacci as well. So you could see something like this, a 3-wave corrective move up to here, and then you continue down. So I would just be, kind of babysitting that scalp around 65.1 to see if you do see a rejection from that area. But that's a nice scalp long opportunity. We can also pull our 1-to-1 trend-based Fibonacci extinction to see where our 3-wave corrective move could end. So it's going to be between the 1-to-1 and the 1.236. And your 1-to-1 is actually going to be where your golden pocket is. Right around that golden pocket. Right in that zone. So yeah, locally you do have some small kind of hurdles to get through. The move down here so far, I mean, the only way we would have to classify this move down, let me just even zoom in even further. Let's go to like the 5-minute chart, because we have a bunch of chop. So we have our highs, and our first high starts kind of with this 3-wave corrective move. Right there should tell you that we do have a chance of breaking above the highs, today's highs. Yeah. And honestly, so are we looking at some sort of 3-wave move here and a W? Here's your X, and then you're looking for a 3-wave move and a Y. It's done with, and now we're about to see an impulse up to continue to break up to new highs. We are starting to break above the VWAP as we speak here. This is good to see, this kind of break above the VWAP. So we'll pay attention locally during the stream to kind of this zone and your 65-1 zone to see if we're going to get some sort of rejection. There's also a possibility, guys, a third possibility of ranging around this liquidity, actually, or not liquidity, ranging around this resistance and between the acre and VWAP for the entire weekend. We could just start to form a bit of a range in here for the entire weekend and kind of create something similar to this, but one level higher or just a little bit higher here. Wayne Rosi, much love to you, man. Divine, sorry I'm late. No worries about that at all. Where are we looking for a short currently? You're in one from 65-150, but not feeling it. Well, if you got the short from 65-150, that is the start of the golden pocket, and that's also the value area high of the range. So I wouldn't be closing that short because it's a decent, right? If you shorted 65-160-ish, 150-ish, and you are putting your stop above that high, I mean, you already came down and pretty much had a 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio. But now that we're starting to break the VWAP bullishly, breaking it to the upside after losing it, you could consider taking some out if you do. And this is not financial advice. I don't give financial advice, but if you do start to break above your local golden pocket. Now, I know that's pretty much going to be a break-even trader. It's not really going to be much profit there. But if you start to break above that, then you know, you have your 786, which is pretty much at your entry. It's a real possibility we could continue up locally here to sweep the liquidity. And that's primarily what I'm looking for, is that liquidity grab. But if you're in the short already, me personally, I wouldn't be closing it. I would just be willing to get stopped out at break even, or look to, pretty much get stopped out at break even and retry if we get the confirmed SFP. And then, of course, because we did front run this, we have to watch out for a true break above and no SFP. So I'm not setting limit orders, guys. I'm not going to be setting limit orders. You see, I have an alert set. And once the alert triggers, I will come in and I will look and I will see if we do have lower time frame bear divs as well. Because we have 4-hour bear divs between these highs on Market Cipher and NAMI. We have 2-hour bear divs between those highs on Market Cipher and NAMI. If we go to the 1 hour, you can see we do have some 1-hour bear divs. Money flow draining out overall, about to cross into the red on Market Cipher, but NAMI does not have 1-hour bear divs here. And what I would want to see now, if we do make another high here, you would want to see some bear divs on lower time frames between this morning's high and the new high. Or it was really last night. I think this happened last night while I was sleeping. So unfortunately, I did not get into that trade. I was sleeping. But we would want to zoom in on like the 15-minute and under. And we would want to see some bear divs. So if we come up here, we grab some liquidity and we do see some 15-minute bear divs and some more 15-minute bear divs also in here to add to our 4-hour, 2-hour bear divs, then that would suggest that we could see, you know, that bigger successful liquidity grab and a bigger break to the downside. Yeah, Eric, we'll look at Circle. Macro value area low held. Looks like accumulation and daily bull divs. A move to at least 83-ish looks squeezable. Okay, yeah, we'll check that out. So we'll check out what was the other one I was going to look at? We'll look at some of the altcoins, what you guys asked for earlier, and some of the other stuff. I just want to get through this chat real quick, and there's really not a whole lot to update on Bitcoin. We're at resistance right now, and we're paying attention to the local data to see what's going to happen here. If we're going to see that bigger dump to the downside, a liquidity grab and a bigger dump to the downside, or if we're going to break and close the daily candle above our highs, that is going to be pretty bullish for continuation to the upside. Sorry, put not a put a long. Okay, Alex, I was wondering there a long. I was saying I put $100 on a long at 10 cents. Well, nice, dude. Alex, that's nice because that SYN 10-cent area was right into that higher low golden pocket. So that is kind of an area where you're looking, you know, that general zone between 10 cents and 995. And we'll look at SYN in just a second and more in depth here. But yeah, we can check SanDisks and MU for sure, guys. Ryan Hansen, good afternoon. All right. Yeah, and Travi, that's good, man. You should be happy with that 4-to-1 risk reward scalp. And here's the thing, if I was you, I would leave some of it open, right? Maybe if you get the confirmed SFP, you take out like 75-80% of it, but there is a real chance because we saw the front run here that this thing breaks to the upside. So of course, leave a runner, right? If you're in a successful trade like that, always be happy taking some profit and securing your position, protecting position by moving your stop loss to break even. But after that, let some of it run. And then, you know, you could recompound it. Like say we do see a breakup and then we come in over the weekend for this like kind of corrective back test of the value area high, you could always add to more of it, compound that long from down here, compound it up here, and then you look to take it higher. T-Geared Phase, welcome in. Much love to you as well. Thank you so much for the comment. What about the 1-to-1 extinction at 65.8 lines with liquidity for a short? Okay, let me see what 1-to-1 you're talking about. So at 65.8, and so we kind of have this double bottom here. I'm not sure where you're pulling that 1-to-1 at, because obviously that's nothing like that's going to work. So if you're doing, I think I see if you're, you'll have to give me more, Wayne Rossi, you'll have to give me more information on how you pulled that 1-to-1 trend-based Fibonacci extinction, but 65.8, I don't think we have too much up there. Let me get to my bearish pitchfork. I think we're breaking above our bearish pitchfork, by the way, or breaking into our bearish pitchfork. You can see we broke inside of it, had that corrective move back to back test it. So there is a real possibility of coming up to the top of the pitchfork band, which is where our anchored VWAP is as well. So that is going to be a pretty nice zone to be looking for at least some sort of scalp short, right? Like if we come up this high, I think we will take out the 67K highs, but you might be able to see like a little bit of a scalp short and then continuation up. A beer, much love to you, man. Good morning to you as well. Hope you're doing good. Thank you for the thumb. Guys, if any of you guys need thumbnails, reach out to a beer. He's a really good thumbnail creator. Awesome dude as well. So reach out to him if you guys do have your own YouTube channels, or if you need any like kind of artwork or anything like that stuff done for your websites. He's really cool. He's really good at it as well. Okay, let's go into some of the other stuff real quick while we're waiting on Bitcoin. I just wanted to show you guys gold real quick because gold is coming up. Now, first off, we broke above our resistance. We flipped our naked daily, naked weekly, and naked monthly point of control into support right now. So there's a real opportunity of moving higher here. But we are coming up into a pretty key resistance. And I think I made this on the XAU chart. So let me just go to XAU USDT. I believe it was Binance. Yeah. All right. So from the lows, we obviously bounced from the value area low of our lower range, and we're bouncing from the value area low of our more important higher time frame range, right? Like this was the top of a major high. You could even pull this volume profile up to that area because that was clearly the top of a parabolic impulse. So if we're just looking at the corrective price action, either way, it doesn't change the value area low. So we're holding support at the value area low. Now we've broken market structure bullishly by taking out some lower highs in here. All three of these lower highs have been taken out. And what I see on this move up, this clearly looks impulsive. You know, 1, 2, 3. So if we're looking at our third wave to end around 43.91, we have some very key liquidity. We might be able to take a scalp short for a wave 4 before seeing a wave 5 to break up to the top of the channel. And this channel is just a really nice corrective channel pulled from your first kind of trend that formed here. And we've been just chopping within this channel. You can see how nicely it's been respected here, also as resistance. So yeah, I would be looking towards the top of the channel for a potential end of this local pump. But even within this move up, you can see we might be ending the third wave soon. So after a corrective move here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and this fifth wave within the third wave, within the bigger 1, 2, 3, might be ending around 43.90. And with a liquidity grab into a key Fibonacci, trend-based Fibonacci extinction target, you can see I have alerts set there. Now, if we do get the short from around 43.91, we would want to take our Fibonacci golden pocket or wave 4 targets, right? So we're going to go from the lows to wherever those highs are going to be. Let's just put it right on the 1.618 right now. And we would be looking at our wave 4 targets. And remember, a higher degree wave 4 often drops to the termination point of a lower degree wave 4. So we have our lower degree wave 4 in here, which is part of this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So we have our lower degree wave 4 right around the 382 Fibonacci. And depending on how we get into this short, it could still be a really nice short. Say we reject from the 618, we start to lose and close below our liquidity grab area. We could put the stop above wherever that wick is, and then we could look to even just target that 382 or the liquidity right around that 382, that zone. And that's still a very nice scalp short. And then depending on how we come down here, we could look to long this general zone in here to break above to new highs. So we'd be looking for longs in here to break up to new highs and probably up towards the top of the channel. So I'm seeing a couple good trading opportunities on gold in the next few days here. We might get this one today. We might get this short today. But gold is popping off. And, you know, gold looks pretty good. If we go zoom out to the daily time frame, on the daily time frame, we had very, very nice bull divs. You can see 3 lower lows, lower low, lower low, lower low here, higher lows on the daily time frame. We got our bullish trigger wave, so a higher low with a bullish trigger wave, and money flow is very nicely curving to the upside, crossing into the green here. And on market side, excuse me, on NAMI, we had the multiple drives of bull div, and money flow is crossed into the green and looks pretty bullish in the green right now. So I'm looking for continuation to the upside. That's why this is a scalp short area to make a higher low before making a higher high. But yeah, I like this movement up on gold. And the big thing on gold is if we can break out, we've already broken out of our smaller kind of accumulation zone in here. We might be able to break up. If we break this channel to the upside, we might be able to see a nice big flush up to this golden pocket, which we have some very key liquidity resting into that golden pocket around 4,900 to 4,970-ish or so. Okay. I already took out 25% for my 65,330 short, and my sell stop is at 65,200. Nice, man. So 65,330, that's a really, really good short on Bitcoin, because that's you pretty much nailed the exact top right there, right? Let me go to the 15-minute chart here. 65.3. Yeah, you got pretty much at the exact high there. So if you pulled out 25%, stop losses at break even. Yeah, that I would leave it open. Now, if you start to break above your local golden pocket, you might pull a little bit more out, just, you know, as a backup there to secure a little bit more profit. That's completely up to you how you want to play that trade. But you're locked in a little bit on profit. Your stop loss was probably so good. I mean, if you shorted at 65,330-ish and your stop is just you know, maybe a little bit of breathing room above that high. Even coming down to the VWAP for you was really a 6-to-1 risk to reward ratio. So that's really, really good. And then now you're secured, right? It's a risk-free trade. Your stop loss is in profit. You're guaranteed money. That's awesome, man. And you might get stopped out on the rest of it. I mean, we have to see how this reacts here. And let me just throw this back on the chart because we're coming up near that golden pocket, guys. Yeah, that's spring on gold, man. Yep, accumulation, you get the spring, and now we're in that expansion phase. Infinity creation, welcome in. Bitcoin to 61K liquidity sweep. You know, it's a big possibility that I'm looking at infinity creation because we still do have a lot of liquidity resting down below 61K. If we go back to our liquidation heat map and we go back to the past month of price action here, we do still have a lot of liquidity down into the 61K zone. You can see sweeping it all would pretty much come right down to 61K, where we do have at 61,250 is our liquidity down here. Let me see if I can throw that on the chart. Where is that one? Right there, 61,250 right into your golden pocket. So at 61K. And yeah, we still have some liquidity that hasn't been taken. This guy, and this guy. And because they're all close together, that's why we have that big pool down there. As you can see, it's kind of a big pool. And of course, we do have the start of that pool right below our double lows on the weekend lows. And there's a chance that we don't sweep all of this liquidity together. We might see something like, if we do reject from this general area, a move down, you know, maybe a back test, a little sweep of that before continuing down to sweep 61K. So you might see some sort of reaction here. But if we get down that low, I would expect us to drop to 61K. It's the key zone. This is our key zone to watch for a rejection. We do have the bear divs on the chart. Actually, I want to go to their 8-hour chart here. And let me just hide our little guys in here. I mean, 8-hour money flow still looks relatively decent on NAMI and on Market Cypher. But we are potentially creating some bear divs. They're not even formed yet on NAMI. So we're going to have to see how this reacts. Like today's close is really important. Today's daily candle close. And we don't want to see an SFP and then closing the daily candle back underneath the value area high at like 61,150-ish. That would be a bearish sign, in my opinion. That would be a possible signal that we are going to get that move down. Yeah, we can check ZEC a beer. It's monthly open. Drive means no downside wick. Yeah, we'll check that. Let me see. We were going to look at a couple other coins. So we just looked at gold. Let me scroll up in the chat here. I remember there was a couple other ones. SYN, we'll check SYN real quick. We don't have much to update on that other than we had a clearly bullish move to the upside, a impulse to the upside here. We've been grinding in this corrective channel. We broke out of the channel, so now we're coming in for a back test for a higher low before continuing to potentially make a higher high. And so that zone to look for the long was between the golden pocket and the 786. So we're coming into that zone now, golden pocket 786. The one thing I would be cautious about is there still is an opportunity for an impulse to the downside here because we did front run the value area high. You can see that golden pocket did front run the value area high of a previous range and accumulation range. So, and with this move down, there is a potential for an impulse in here. Let me zoom into the 1 hour so we can get a little better look at this. But you can see you have your kind of 1, 2, 1, 2. This could be a 3. This could be a 4, 5, 4, 5. We could still see that kind of impulse down. Now, if we start this move down with an impulse, you don't want an impulse here. You want a corrective move. So if this starts with an impulse, even if you get a bounce from here, you would look for a lower high before coming down and making another lower low. And maybe this is going to be some sort of bigger flat in here, an ABC flat or something like that. But yeah, let let's zoom out to the daily here on SYN. You can see that our previous accumulation range down in here, we broke it with nice, massive volume to the upside. So we're coming back to back test that previous range value area high after grabbing some key liquidity. Did we come up to this high? No, not quite yet. Yeah, so this move down is back testing our breakout of our accumulation range. Depending on what happens here, you could see new highs. And so we could be looking at swing long opportunities on SYN in this general zone. You don't have bull divs. Actually, no, you don't have bull divs on the daily on Market Cipher, but you did have very slight bull divs. Now, those been recently invalidated with that momentum wave here that's a little bit lower. Actually, let me see. Is that low? I guess you do have some slight bull divs here as well. Money flow is still crossing to the upside, but it is starting to flatten out here. Nice looking bull divs on NAMI that gave us this push up the past couple of days. Let me get rid of all this brush. So you can see as we were coming down into your golden pocket, you were forming some really nice bull divs. You got the break up here. Yeah, I'm just looking. So if you're in at 10 cents, that's a pretty good level. Obviously, you'd be putting your stop below if you're long from 10, which is pretty much right down at your golden pocket area. Depends on how you're playing this trade. If you're playing it as more of a swing trade, then your stop would go below the lows, and I would even probably put it below that value area low. And of course, you would be targeting overall seeing a move to break the highs, right, of the channel, like all the way up, at least to break those highs. So that is a nice swing trade right there. And then, of course, you would even watch out for some internal levels of resistance. Golden pocket's going to be at like 31 to 33 cents. And we can look at naked weeklies and naked dailies in there. You have a naked weekly just above that, and all right, that naked daily is going to be near the equilibrium. So that's a zone I would also be considering to watch for, maybe taking some profit if this is going to see some sort of more complex correction that occurs in here. But you're at your zone of support from this move up. This move up broke market structure bullishly. So now we can look for a higher low before continuing. And this could be all the start of a bigger impulse to the upside, right? 1, 2, you could get a 3, 4, and then 5 continuation pushing up to take out your highs. Okay, that was SYN. Let's see. XRP. You said we got the SFP soon. SFP soon on XRP. Well, we are coming down to that level, the bottom. So we have on XRP, we have this range in here. And just get rid of some of this stuff. We'll pull our volume profile. We did see a bounce from this box of support, but you rejected from the POC. So it did give you kind of a scalp up to the POC, but it was a 3-wave corrective move. You can see in here, 3-wave correction, you dump again, and then now we're breaking down. We're breaking the value area low of the range. So that did play out for at least a scalp trade. It was also an SFP of this low. Let me just get rid of some of this stuff now because obviously it's been tapped. You can see we're flipping that naked weekly into resistance locally. So it is likely to continue down to take out those lows. Now, value area low was holding. We rejected twice from the value area high. Actually, you fell back inside. You confirmed acceptance back within it. You made your low, right? The big thing with XRP, just like with Ethereum, is that very first move up. This was a 3-wave corrective move up. Now, this also does look like a 3-wave corrective move down. Actually, that, and then this looks like a 3-wave corrective move up too. So you could be finishing some sort of more complex correction in here. And I want to actually pull our channel. So let me do this. Yeah, we're losing. So we're losing the midline of the channel, but also we're losing the value area low of this range. We've been in this range for what, since the beginning of June as well. So about 2 months. You can see the value area low was trying to give us a bounce the last couple times, but we kept rejecting from the POC. So when you came up to fair value of the past couple of months, you saw sell-offs here. Now we're breaking the value area low. Even locally, after breaking the value area low, you can see you back tested it and rejected. So you would have expected to take out that local low in there. And now we're even flipping the midline of the channel to resistance. And also that was that naked weekly POC that we broke down from. So I would expect us to come grab the lows of the range. If we get the SFP, yes, you could look for it along there. I would want to see the confirmed SFP, right? So you would want to see the pierce below, recovery, and then you could look for the long. But if you're looking for the long on this, you have to be aware that you could still reject on a higher time frame backtest of this value area low. So like wherever you get your SFP wick ending, you would still have to watch for some sort of rejection at this value area low. So it's still a good trade depending on how much this wick's passed, right? It still could be a good trade. I would pull some out, and then if you get back inside your volume profile, obviously you're looking for a move up to that POC, and I would look to grab this internal liquidity within that POC. Overall, on the larger time frames, XRP it's a bit dangerous because we don't have much until our macro golden pocket. You can see the macro golden pocket would also kind of, depending on how we come down here, it would be towards the bottom of our channel. So we might continue this grind down until we see that hit. Now, this value area low that I have on my chart at 107, it's from this range, and you see on the daily, it doesn't match up, but if you zoom in on the lower time frames and go to this range, that is where it is. So we're also losing the value area low of our little consolidation because there's nothing really on XRP. There's nothing really in here to support us except for a couple little ranges that we had, a range here, a range here. So you had some volume support levels within there. But now that we're losing the value area low of our last little range, there is nothing in here, guys, that is going to keep us from dumping pretty aggressively to the downside. The only thing is our macro golden pocket. And unfortunately for XRP, it is likely that we do continue to dump down to hit that golden pocket. So let me go ahead and hide this value area low. And quite honestly, I would be looking for a move down. If you don't get the SFP of the range low, you would be looking for a move down to around 90 cents where your macro golden pocket is. If we do get that low though, depending on how we come down there, you could see some nice bull divs within this channel. You have one drive here. Now, if you get another drive, you could see some nice bull divs. We did have some bull divs in here that gave us this little bit of a push up, but once again, it was a 3-wave corrective move. And locally, we're not forming any bull divs on the daily. Let's go real quick out to our weekly, and then we can go on to the next coin. Yeah, and weekly, you have very, very slight bull divs on Market Cipher, but your money flow doesn't look the best here. And remember, bearish money flow is always going to overpower a single drive of bear divs or bull divs. And with NAMI, we had some bull divs in here, gave us this little bit of a push up. And now we could be forming another set of bull divs on the weekly, but we have to take out that range low at $1 first. So for me, honestly, I'm not looking for anything until we get down to 90, unless we SFP the low at $1. I will set an alert on that SFP zone or level. But unfortunately, that's all I see. You know, there's nothing really in this. If we don't SFP, there's nothing in this zone that isn't going to keep us from coming down to 90 cents pretty aggressively. Okay, SanDisk. Well, we're breaking down our pitchfork that we had here, our local pitchfork that we had. And remember, we were looking at an impulse here from this low. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you had your 5-wave move there. So now that we had that 5-wave move, we're breaking the pitchfork down. We know that the move is most likely done. We can look for pulling a Fibonacci golden pocket from the low of the impulse to the high of the impulse. And you would be looking really to come down towards that golden pocket at 921 to 878. Man, SanDisk, I mean, this thing is just crazy bullish, but is it likely to continue like this forever? No, guys. And look we have some major bear divs here with money flow draining out and finally crossing into the red, and now even heavily maintaining into the red, draining out, continuing to drain out here. So that's not the best sign. Yeah, pretty, some bear divs in here. Money flow is about to cross into the red on the daily time frame. We printed a hidden bearish divergence on NAMI with a lower high. And remember, a hidden bearish divergence is a continuation pattern. So you're expecting to continue to make new lows. And honestly, up here, we could be looking at a couple 1-2s in here. 1, 2, 1, 2. Maybe this is your 3, a 4, 5, 4, 5. Or we would have to zoom in on this and look at this. But what I'm seeing right now locally on SanDisk is so far, the move up that we saw looks like a 3-wave corrective move. And if we break that low at 1121.70, this higher low right here, it's most likely that this is a confirmed 3-wave move and that we are going to take out the low. Kind of have this upper range in here. Actually, yeah, we'll pull that all the way. Seeing sell-offs at fair value, seeing sell-off at fair value. You are chopping around the value area low, but once again, it's likely to me that we are going to come down to that golden pocket. And then the big thing we would want to look at is we can zoom in and see if we see bearish divergence between these two highs here. And that would also confirm that it's more likely to be a 3-wave corrective move. NAMI is showing those bear divs, but Market Cypher's not. So you have bear divs here. Yeah. You're holding on around the value area low, but it looks like it's going to break down to that golden pocket. Interesting. Okay. Wow. All right. Let me see if this is more. Yeah, that's a 355% move to the upside. So let's take this. We'll put this on log scale. All right. Yeah, you want to look at that 921. So your non-log golden pocket is kind of where you're finding some support right now. But this is a 350% move plus. So you definitely want to adjust that golden pocket to the proper psychological 618 zone. And man, the bear divs on this thing, look at 1, 2, 3 drives of weekly bear div, more bear div, local bear div, money flow draining out, crossing into the red on the weekly. SanDisk could see a bigger dump to the downside. SanDisk could be about to really see a bit of an implosion at least. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we do come all the way down to take out the range low, the liquidity of those range lows. But first, we have to watch our local support levels. Yeah, and you do have a naked weekly point of control. Your next fresh naked weekly point of control below you is right at that golden pocket. So around 915, 921. Let me make sure I get that right on there. $914-ish. You're inside that zone though. Golden pocket, naked weekly point of control. Let's see if it's a naked monthly as well. Yeah, it looks like it's also a naked monthly point of control there. So very, very strong volume support inside a golden pocket. I'm just going to set an alert there so we can see if there's the reaction we want to see. And honestly, the move down, you guys, because you see this kind of chop in here, and this does look like, you know, your primary one, primary two, secondary one, secondary two. And actually, you would have to say this is another one and another two because you do have overlap. And then you could say, is this your 3? And now you have a 4, 5, 4, 5, 4. You know, you're going to need some more 4, 5s to come down here, to chop down here. But that's what I'd be looking at. Remember, it's key to watch that 1171 low, 1121 low, because if you start to break that, it's more likely that this is confirmed 3-wave move and that you are likely to take out this low. We also had the hidden bearish divergence on the daily time frame on NAMI on this lower high. We have some massive bear divs too on higher time frames. MU Micron. Kind of the same thing with Micron. We're breaking our pitchfork down. And remember how I showed you last time on Micron that sometimes it doesn't make it to the top of the pitchfork. It will only make it to that upper band. And I showed you guys how Bitcoin did that in 2025 with its all-time high. Well, it's pretty much the same thing. Now, we are coming down to a larger pitchfork midline, but we haven't touched it yet. All right, let me zoom out here. See what we're looking at. Yeah, and honestly, like, okay, I'll delete this pitchfork now, or I'll just hide it for a second, because we do have a nice clean 5-wave move to the upside here on the daily time frame. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're seeing that 5-wave move up, and actually on the higher time frames, we're breaking that pitchfork band, that pitchfork midline. Break it, backtest, new lows, backtest, new lows. With this 5-wave impulse potentially being completed, bear divs, money flow draining out, bear divs, money flow draining out, you could see a move as deep as to the golden pocket. Now, I'm not saying we're going to go down that far yet, right? But you do have to be aware that you're finishing a major impulse to the upside. So you could see a move all the way back down to that golden pocket zone. And we would actually have to readjust this golden pocket because we have new highs locally. That's going to kind of be your golden pocket zone. Man, what a nice impulse though, right there. What a super nice impulse that is. Now, in a very, very bullish asset, you often will bounce from the 382, right? You'll often bounce from the 382 because in a strong trend, the 382 acts as strong support or strong resistance. Well, this is a very strong trend. We can put on our 382. Now we want to make that log scale because that's more than a 100% pump. 382 is coming in around 397, and it's also our prior consolidation here and pretty much your wave 4 range, right? This is your wave 4 range in here. Zooming in onto the daily time frame, we can look at pulling a volume profile of this sideways range. Yeah, you have a point of control in there. I bet you we even have some naked weekly or naked monthly points of control. The naked monthly point of control just below us has not been hit yet. I would assume that we are going to continue grinding down to hit that, but now with an SFP from last week into a naked monthly, we might get some sort of double bottom here and at least a move up to grab local liquidity before continuing down. Kind of like Solana did. It had its big move down and then it went sideways for a bit and then it continued down. So that naked monthly might be a zone for you guys, a zone of interest or a level of interest to look for along on this thing if you're going to trade this tokenized or not. Let's see here. Weeklies. And we even have a naked weekly right below another zone of liquidity. So small bounces, right? If you're looking for a larger downtrend to continue now, you're still looking for bounces along the way. Small bounces along the way. So those are just zones of interest to look for scalp or like day trade to scalp trade long opportunities. So this would kind of be another one in here. All right, let's go to the next one. ZEC, yeah, we'll check ZEC a beer. Well, ZEC was grinding down within this descending channel, and we bounced from our golden pocket, right? So we had kind of this descending channel we were grinding in from. But remember, we lost the pitchfork. So we lost it here. We rejected. We came down to our golden pocket. Now, could we be looking at a 5-wave move up from the golden pocket? Let me get rid of that for a second. The only reason we were looking at that 0.5 is because we had a naked weekly there as well. So you can see we did see a small pullback. And that is an area to look for like wave 4s, right? If we're looking at this as some sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, we might get another 5th wave for a higher time frame backtest of that pitchfork. And if we reject on a higher time frame backtest of the pitchfork, then you would expect to continue down really overall. But we did break out of the channel very nicely. You can see it was acting as resistance a little bit. We break out of it. And if we look at pulling our wave 4 targets from the low of 3 to the high of 3, put on your wave 4 targets. Yeah, you're right in that zone between the 382 and the 0.5. So now it's likely that we do see a move up to take out the high. And I know that this is very deep for a wave 2 here, but it has not been invalidated. A wave 2, as long as you don't see it take out the lows of wave 1, 1, 2, 3, you came down to your wave 4 target, you're bouncing. So you want to see us take out that high at like 525 and potentially move up to backtest the pitchfork. We can also look at those wave 5 targets. Between the 1.236 and the 1.618. So it is in that zone there. We can also look for any naked dailies within this corrective move down. Naked weeklies, naked dailies. All right, we rejected from a naked weekly already. That was the one I had on the chart earlier. And look at, you have a naked daily right at the back test of the pitchfork. I just want to zoom into the 1 hour to make sure that's in the right spot. Yeah, all right. Very, very locally, we do have some potential for some local resistance because this is going to be right around your 786. So like scalp short opportunity stuff. Now, I'm not going to be taking that trade. I'm going to tell you that right now. Going into the weekend. But you can see your 786, which was front run into a naked daily. You could continue this grind up in here until you hit that, and then you might see a bigger pullback and then continuation. And actually, like if we're looking at this 1, 2, you would have to say this is another 1, 2 because you have overlap between the highs and the lows here. You could get this continuing to grind up in a 3 until you hit that, and then you would be looking for some 4, 5s, and then 4s and 5s. And actually, no, you can't even say that. You're looking at all of this would have to be 1, 2s. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, because you have overlap here as well. And then you would want to see that big 3. So maybe this is going to continue up. You're going to get a pullback to golden pocket in a wave 2, a larger wave 2, and then 3, 4, 5, something like that. Actually, no, I don't know what I'm saying there. That, if you're counting this as a completed 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you're counting that as a completed 5, the only way to count that as a motive wave is if it was a contracting diagonal. Let's see. No, because you're hitting the top of the channel, so you can't classify that. So you'd have to classify them as 1, 2s, a bunch of 1, 2s building in here. But you have this small ascending channel. You're kind of just following this. I would be looking for new highs, though. Look at, we'll set an alert on that naked daily because that might give us a good short. For the larger 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this might be able to give us a short down to golden pocket. But you said, can you watch ZEC for a short? It's monthly open. Drive means no downside wick. So wait, it's monthly open. Yeah, the monthly open does definitely not have any wick at all. I know that this looks really messy on the monthly chart right now. Let me check our weekly. I mean, we got that support right into the, we got a nice bounce right from our support. We have pretty much a good bounce from that zone, right? We had a good, real nice bounce from that zone. That was a golden pocket and a naked weekly point of control. The big thing that I'm concerned about is a larger 3-wave corrective move here, because this was clearly a 50% impulse to the downside. So if you make a 3-wave corrective move and you make a lower high, there's a real chance that we could be seeing a 1, 2, and then a 3, 4, 5 to take out that low. So that's why we're looking at the back test of that pitchfork, that 540-ish zone. We're looking for a backtest of the pitchfork for a potential short. But if it starts with an impulse, that's also not the best sign. ZEC is a bit of a tough one in here. Let me go to a different chart just so I can pull a nice volume profile. Yeah, so we did get that nice bounce. That was on both of our charts, that support level down there. That's been tapped. I believe that naked weekly's been tapped as well, so we'll get rid of that. And we have our larger range in here, right? Larger range. We dumped quite aggressively, but we're at our current point of control right now. So if we do reject from this general zone, you would expect new moves down. And it would be, you know, a 3-wave corrective move. Boom, boom. And then you'd be looking for moves down and at least to take out this low and probably into your naked daily and daily at 358 to 362-ish. You have some good pitchfork band support there. And you might break a little bit higher to hit the other pitchfork, right? Nice bull divs coming on the daily down into this low. And remember, that low was a golden pocket area. Bull divs. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if we can close the weekly candle above the point of control. 515 pretty much. If not, you could see a real roll over here. Because locally, there's still a chance that that's a 3-wave move, and then you're going to roll down. Okay, thank you, Arpink. Guys, real quick, I want to take a second to shout out the partners of the channel. So the main partner of the channel is BYDFI. They're a VPN and KYC free exchange. All you need is an email and a password to sign up. If you do sign up using my affiliate link in the description below, you can get a minimum of 20% discounts on your trading fees, and you can earn up to 40% discounts if you do deposit some larger amounts into the exchange. They're offering up to $8,100 in futures trading bonuses, depending on the amount of volume you trade on the USDT market. So that's not only Bitcoin, but it's all the altcoins as well. In my opinion, that's a pretty good incentive. They're also offering some of the best initial deposit bonuses in the entire industry. Deposit $100, you get a 50% bonus, which is over double what most exchanges will do. They're giving 20% deposit bonuses up to $1,000 deposit and 10% deposit bonuses up to a $20,000 deposit. I've also partnered with them to do that Telegram community. It's a private community, but I try to keep you guys updated on that community, on any trades that I'm taking, try to keep you updated on Bitcoin's movements throughout the day, and all the alerts that we set during these live streams. If we have those alerts go off, I try to let you guys know, hey, an alert is going off. We have a potential trade opportunity here, and I will let you guys know if I'm entering it or not. So if you're interested in joining the Telegram, all you have to do is join BYDFI using my affiliate link and deposit a minimum deposit of $100 or more. You can deposit more if you want to get some of the bigger bonuses, but minimum deposit of $100. Once you've done that, you click the Telegram link in the description of this video, or Rpink did post it in the chat. And in that Telegram verify channel, type in /verify and then your BYDFI user ID, and that'll get you in. /verify and your user ID, it'll get you into the Telegram. I have a few other exchange partners, Blowfin, MEXC, and Bybit. Links are in the description if you want to sign up for any of those exchanges. They're all offering various discounts and initial deposit bonuses. And then lastly, I have NAMI Trading, which is this momentum and money flow indicator you see at the bottom of your screen here. And I use it for confirmations to enter and exit trades. You know, as you were coming down to this support level here, we wanted to see some bull divs on the chart. You could see you had some bull divs on the chart as you're coming into key support. We had bear divs on the chart as you're coming into key resistance. So since I've been using NAMI for confirmations to enter and exit, my profits have gone up. My profit margins have gone up, and I have partnered with NAMI to get you guys 50% off. So if you want to purchase NAMI, click the affiliate link in the description, or in the chat. And when you're checking out on the website, use discount code Divine50 and you can get 50% off that lifetime subscription to NAMI. Or if you want to try out the monthly trial, discount code Divine25 will get you 25% off a monthly subscription to NAMI the first month. All right. Let's see. Palantir short setup. We can check out Palantir. When are you going to buy BTC spot, or are you already in? Well, I did buy some BTC spot at $57,900. I had that spot waiting at the 57.9 low because it was our naked monthly point of control into an anchored VWAP and into multiple pitchfork levels. So I let you guys know that ahead of time as well, that I was going to buy at 57.9, just a little bit. Not a lot. But if we do make some more lows, like, honestly, I think that if this 57, this mid 57 to 56,000 doesn't hold, I think we're going to see a much bigger drop to the downside and potentially even into the low 40s, high 30s. So I'm not really looking to buy again until we get down there, because if this key zone doesn't hold, there's not a lot to keep us from coming down pretty aggressively. Let's see. Palantir. All right. Yeah, we were looking at a potential impulse here. We are breaking a higher low, and it was around your golden pocket. So we have a range. We have two ranges. We have kind of this smaller range that we're breaking out of the value area high with volume. And we have our larger range, which we're coming up to the value area high, which is right around your 1.618 trend-based Fibonacci extinction and your 786 Fibonacci retracement. So there was two levels we were looking at. We were looking at either, or there was two scenarios we're looking at. We were looking at an A, B, C, and then continuation down, or potentially 1, 2, 3, flip 4, and then 5, continue up, and probably most likely break these highs up here. So you can see clearly we had a small reaction at the SFP. It gave us a little move down, but we were able to break above it. And today's daily candle is nice and bullish, breaking. And if we close today's daily candle above our range highs, then you're likely to come up to your larger value area high and your 1.618. So, I mean, it is looking pretty nice now because, and we have to put that on log scale. It is looking nice now that we had kind of just a little pullback from that liquidity grab, and we broke through the golden pocket, that we're likely to come up to this resistance now. This resistance is from like 176 to like 181, 181.5. Now, if we make it up there, it is more likely that we are in an impulse, right? A 1, 2, 3. So even if you pull back from here, you would want to be looking for a wave 4 before seeing one more high in a wave 5. And you might even sweep all of the highs of this range, right? Because if you break out of the value area high of the range, now you're going to come for the liquidity of the range highs. And we'll have to pull that wave 4 once we start to reject. If we do start, because this wave 3 doesn't have to end at the 1.618. It could sweep all the way up to take this liquidity and then see a pullback in a wave 4 to back test the value area high. And then our wave 5 comes up and takes out that high. So we don't know when this wave 3 could end. A good zone, though, a good zone of resistance is coming up. And let me turn on our volume here. Yeah, we're getting nice spikes and raising in volume. You can see as we're pushing up within this move so far, volume is increasing here. So that is good to see. And quite honestly, this is looking like it's starting to become pretty impulsive. This for sure did look like kind of a corrective move down. And now you're breaking out of that corrective channel. Actually, I would pull that channel a little bit different. We would pull it from here. Yeah, so you can see you're kind of breaking out of that channel with nice volume increase on the breakout. So essentially, you're breaking out of the smaller range here. We can get rid of that for now. You have your larger corrective range in here, and you're coming up towards the value area high because you were able to hold, you got back inside the volume profile, found a little bit of resistance around the POC, but we're ultimately able to break above it. And now it's likely we work our way up towards the value area high. Let's see if we have any naked dailies or naked weeklies up there. So actually, we won't be able to look at naked dailies, but we could look at naked weeklies. Yeah, you have a naked weekly point of control up there as well. So that's definitely your resistance coming up. Around 178, 179, this general zone in here is definitely your big resistance zone. So if you're looking to short Palantir, it is a short zone, but I would be very careful of shorting it to a higher low opportunity before breaking it up. And also, let's say, 1, 2, 3, you can look to long your wave 4 targets to bring up to new highs, to at least take out your wave 3 highs. Right? And once again, we don't know where the wave 3 is going to end, but once you do that, you just pull a Fibonacci from the low of wave 3 to the high of wave 3, wherever it's going to be. I'm just going to put it right on the 1.618 for now. And you're looking for your targets between the 382 and the 0.5. So depending on where this rejects, you could look for longs in that general zone. Hypothetical right now because we haven't come up to resistance yet. Money flow looks really bullish though on the 4-hour on both NAMI and Market Cipher B. You do not have bear divs here. No bear divs. 8-hour. No bear divs. No bear divs. Money flow looks good on NAMI, still rising rapidly, and the Market Cipher's just crossing into the green. So yeah, for the bias has to be for more upside, at least up to that like 180-ish level. And if you're going to short this, because remember, I wouldn't be shorting this. I wouldn't be putting limit orders to short here. It doesn't have to end there for a 4. It could literally bust through it because our value area high is there as well. It could bust through the value area high, sweep liquidity, and then back test for a wave 4 before continuing a wave 5. But that's your zone. Like if you ask for a short setup zone, it's this zone here between 176, between 176 and 181. Closer to 177, actually. 177 to 181. I guess better to short at value area low retest. For which Peoria B, I'm not sure which coin you're referring to, but I think you mean on XRP. Yeah, I think so too, man, because we're losing the value area low. Well, first off, you're more than likely to come grab the lows. So you're more likely to continue down to grab the lows. So if you get the SFP, that is a good long opportunity, right? But yeah, if you get the SFP and you come up here, you can also look for the short. If you start to reject, you can take profit on the long and look to flip short because you're likely to work your way down to that golden pocket. So you can try to play both of them. This would be a scalp long opportunity, and this would be more of a day trade short to swing trade short, because that's a pretty big move. If you drop from, 105 all the way down to 90 cents, that's a 13, 14% move. That's a pretty good move there. SpaceX, yeah, we can look at SpaceX. I don't even know I don't remember the ticker. SpaceX. Let's see, CX, is it? SpaceX. Yeah. Well, there's not a lot we can look at on this. I mean, it's pretty new, right? So Oh man. So it's very hard to say that. I mean, this could be an impulse, right? A 1, 2, 3. You're looking for a 4 and then a 5 to finish a move down. But it's very hard to say with it being brand new price action that it's going to start with an impulse to the downside. What I would look at is a bearish pitchfork. So we have our high that's after the listing. We have a low, and then we have a lower high. Now, if you're looking for an aggressive trend to the downside, you would want to put on a modified skip or a skip or an original. But this trend is getting weaker and weaker and starting to move up. So we want to make it okay, actually, it already is a skip. So we're breaking out of our skip pitchfork, back testing it, and seeing a move to the upside. I want to pay attention to this lower zone in here where you started to find a bottom. You can see you started to find a bottom in here. So we would want to pull a volume profile of that bottom zone. And even if we include that, yeah, you're breaking out of the value area high. You did see some sort of accumulation type move here. You see your initial low, a tap 1 in here. You do have a tap 2 in here. You broke market structure bullishly off the tap 2. You took out these lower highs, so that's a bullish market structure break. So because you broke market structure bullishly, you have a higher probability of making a higher low before making a higher high. And this would be your tap 3. And this is kind of your accumulation range. So we saw some accumulation occurring in here. And now we're starting to see the expansion phase of that accumulation. And within this, from this third low, from this third tap low, we would want to look in here at potential impulses. So you see a 1, 2, all of this still looks like it's going to be part of a 3. This would be real small for a 4 pullback. So you could classify that as a 4, but it's more likely that we're still in a 3. A 1, 2, you're going to see a 3, and then a pullback and a 4, and then you're going to see a 5. And if it starts with an impulse here, that's a good sign. You're already breaking market structure bullishly by taking out some of these lower highs in here. And so now we can zoom out again, and we can start to look at some of the resistances above us. So first we'll pull a golden pocket here of your wave 3, because this is all speculation now based off it being a brand new asset. But at the beginning of me going over this, I said there's a possibility this is going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And you're going to see new lows come in. So if it's a wave 4, then you want to pull your Fibonacci from the highs of 3 to the lows of 3, and you want to put on your 0.5 to 382 targets. So we are coming up into the zone of a wave 4, if it's going to be a wave 4. It's very hard to speculate on that with it being a brand new asset, right? So just be aware we're in the zone where we could see a rejection to make new lows. But, I mean, it looks pretty bullish. Look at this. Bull divs being created here all the way on the 2-hour time frame. Money flow's about to cross into the green. You had bull divs in here, local bull divs in here. Yeah, 4-hour bull divs, nice bull divs, crossing into the green, coming up. So to me, it's more likely that we are going to continue higher and it's not a wave 4. And in that case, if you hit the golden pocket of your wave of a potential wave 3, then it invalidates an impulse, right? You can't say that it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you hit this golden pocket, it makes it far more likely that this is a finished corrective move, and now you're going to see continuation up. We can also look at our important naked weekly and naked daily points of controls within this move down. You do have a naked weekly right at that golden pocket, and I'm going to zoom in on to the 1 hour just to get at 150.4. You have a naked weekly point of control. We do have another one before that at 138, and that's going to be where that 0.5 fib was. So let me just do this. We'll pull another fib from the highs of 3 to the lows of 3, and we'll put on our 0.5 Fibonacci. Once again, it's very unclear because it's a brand new asset. But if we're going to say this is going to be a 1, 2, 3, you're looking for a rejection at 138 to make new lows. A 4 and then a 5. The other, if you break above it, I mean, this is your next resistance up here. But if you hit it, you're likely to make a higher low before continuing, even if you see some sort of rejection from there. And then, of course, what we'll do last is we'll pull a golden pocket from the highs to the lows. And I want to see if that is, I'm pretty sure that's, okay, that's only a 50% move down. Oh, if it's more than 30% move down, you do want to use a log scale on your golden pocket. And I actually want to check this. Is this more than 30%? Yeah, it's 40%. So this actually has to get to log scale as well. Well, unfortunately, if we use the log scale golden pocket, it does kind of ruin our confluence with the naked weekly point of control. This golden pocket on log scale is super nice because you have major liquidity grab into a golden pocket. So anytime you see a liquidity grab into a golden pocket, pay attention to it, right? So that right there would be definitely a level where I'd be potentially looking for a short or a sell-off, or, you know, a rejection and more of a range to form, because this is a brand new asset. So you might see more of a range to start to form and a fair value for this asset start to form because it's a brand new asset. Man, so many people were buying the pre-IPO for SpaceX, and a lot of people were asking me about it, and I told them, like, just wait. It sells off always. Within the month after the asset list, you always see a big sell-off, and you wait until it gets to low prices, then you start buying. But yeah, I mean, that's what I would be looking at right now, is kind of this zone in here is a big resistance zone. Your naked daily is close to that naked weekly. And honestly, the volume resistance is a little bit more important than your golden pocket resistance in that case. So I would be watching this zone here. And remember, your non-log golden pocket is right there. So the big, you know, I would still say these are your two big zones of resistance, here and here. And then 138 is your level of caution, because if you start to really reject from 138, you could make new lows. Okay. Oh, SanDisk is bouncing from a developing yearly VWAP. Wait, SNDK. Developing yearly VWAP, huh? Well, let me do my MTF levels, and we will look for the yearly. Yeah, it didn't quite hit it. I mean, it's pretty much right down in that zone, your yearly VWAP. But yeah, I mean, this thing is so bullish that, look in the past, bounce from VWAP, bounce from VWAP. It's pretty much the same thing as an anchored VWAP. And actually, we should look at our anchored VWAP on this. And I would pull an anchored VWAP from this last low right in here. Because if you're going to maintain your bullish market structure, you want to maintain above that. Or if you want, yeah, you want to maintain above that. Now we're chopping in and around it. Once again, the rejection from the POC of this upper range is not the best thing to see. You're also starting to lose that anchored VWAP again, which you can see has been nicely respected on lower time frames. Rejection, rejection, break above it. Tried to hold it as support in this little consolidation. You couldn't. And your anchored VWAP from like the low lows, of course, you're not even going to be close to it probably, but that is also going to be really important for the overall momentum of SanDisk. You do not want to start to lose that anchored VWAP. It's very similar to Bitcoin, right? Very, very similar to Bitcoin, where we're at from the bear market lows. You're at your anchored VWAP from the bear market lows. So you really do not want to lose the anchored VWAP. And that's where we're bouncing right now. Let me go to the index chart so you can see it cleaner. Right? And to maintain the overall bigger trend, when you come down here, you want to see the bounce from that. Another thing, now that I'm on the index chart, I wanted to talk to you guys about this descending channel that we'd been watching on the chart. So for the past month or so, we've been looking at 2 months, we've been looking at this range, right? This sideways range. And yes, it's a very flat sideways range in here. But we did have to start the range a low and then a lower low in here. So I pulled this descending channel and you pull it from this low to this low up to your high. And if you break out of that descending channel, you can see movements to take out the range highs at 67.3 and potentially even break up to your golden pocket pulled from the high to the low. So, and you can see that golden pocket is also going to be an important value area high. If you combine the last range with our current range, value area high at 72, 73 is also your golden pocket. We're above the POC. Now, when we broke out of this channel, I understand that we had some failed auction price action above the breakout in here, right? Failed auction, you're trying to maintain, and then just so a little bit of chop around the top of the breakout. It acted as resistance the first time we hit it. Now, locally, after seeing some chop around it, we're breaking out of the channel, we're back testing the channel, and it looks like we're continuing up locally here. So the pullback we saw a couple days ago, we pulled back to back test that channel. And that's really good that we back tested that channel and it's holding and we made new local highs. So as soon as you back test bullishly and hold, you expect to take out your local high. And we just did it today. So now there's a real possibility that we could continue to sweep up here, right? And even sweep up above your 67K high. We just have to see what happens at our zone of resistance, which we're pretty much at. And we're waiting for data to develop and we're going into the weekend. But this zone of resistance right here is our important zone of resistance. Really, we've been looking at this for, at least a week now. This might be an ABC impulse on ZEC. Well, Abir, an ABC is a corrective move. When you have an ABC, you do have an impulse. So your A wave is an impulse. Your B wave's a corrective move, and then your C wave's an impulse. But overall, it creates a corrective move before, and then when that corrective move ends, you expect to take out the low of that corrective move. So, and I'm not sure what time frame you're looking at on this here, but if you're looking at something like this being an ABC, yes, that could be an ABC to make a lower high, and then you would expect to take this out. Yeah, and like this for wave 2 is very unusual to have like a double bottom instead of like golden pocket 786. But if you're looking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I mean, you did bounce exactly from your 0.5 here, which does give me a little bit of conviction that it was a wave 4 in here. And now we're going to see new highs being made. But even that, even so, you still have to be careful because, yes, I mean, so far within this move up of the past couple of days, I mean, it's very choppy here. The only way to count this impulsively, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, because you have a bunch of overlap. The other scenario would be a double zigzag, right? W, your X here, and then you get a Y. That's your double zigzag, and then you're going to drop. I think the VWAP is what you need to watch for. If you start to lose the VWAP, you're in serious trouble for a bigger to take out the lows. Okay, let's see here. Sorry, guys, I am way behind on the chat. Benny Blanco from the Bronx, welcome in, my man. Any thoughts on BIP 110 signaling? BIP 110 signaling starting tomorrow? No, I don't have any thoughts on that because I'm not too informed about that. So, sorry about that, Benny. Can we look at River USD? Yeah, I guess Kraken is the only one that has it. Let's see. I mean, we can look at the USDT perpetual pair, or I guess I'll go on Kraken, see how that is. Man, we need a better chart. Nice bullish engulfing candle yesterday. So from the highs, it's very interesting that we started this with a 3-wave move. 3-wave move here. 3-wave move here. Now we could be looking at an extended 3-wave move here. Right? That's done. Now you have your complex WXY correction that's done with. And maybe we're going to see moves up here, pushes to much higher levels. But what I would be looking at is you have kind of, and I'm not going to use the actual listing day, but I'm going to go right after the listing day. And you look at this lower range in here. Oh, is it not going to give it to me? Let's see. I'm going to have to use a different chart. But essentially, you have two ranges. You have a range down here. You have a range up here. And now you're back inside your lower range. So you want to look at these volume levels within this guy here, right? See if you're at support. I'm going to have to use the Bybit perpetual chart. Yeah, it looks like that's what we've been using anyways. So yeah, you had kind of this upper range in here. You broke it down. You can get rid of all this. That monthly's been tapped, so we can get rid of that. Monthly there, and you have a monthly there. Yeah, and you have a weekly, you have some weeklies in here. I'll just throw on our most current weekly resistance. All right, now let's go back down to the daily. Yeah, upper range in here. You have a lower range kind of in here. And now this is not the listing. The listing was before then, so I'll pull this. Value area low is a bit lower. I mean, it's really hard. This chart is really kind of quite hard because this price action doesn't go back as far as the other chart does. And it would be nice to have the rest of that volume profile to look at. But essentially, we're looking at this as potentially the ending of a WXY with that kind of bigger Y, right? Because this first move down, impulse, correction, impulse, ABC, here's another ABC in here, and then you'd be looking at, you know, in the ABC, here's a W, this is an X, and then you're looking at some sort of Y in here. Yeah, you're even breaking your 786. And I want to just throw on our 886 as well. Seeing some reaction from the 886. Okay. What I actually want to do is I want to look at the bearish market structure here, because you can see we have some initial aggressive moves down here, and now we're starting to kind of flatten out in here a little bit. So we're starting to see some selling exhaustion come in. I want to look at our trend, our bearish trend in here. Okay, good. Yeah, much better respected. Okay, so we have our bearish pitchfork, bounce from the lower band, reject from the upper band, reject. You kind of chop around in that upper band for a bit, but we're starting to break out of the pitchfork. So that's a good sign. And also, it looks like the move up is a bit impulsive, right? Because you have this 1, 2, 3, and it looks like we're forming a triangle right here in a 4. And then you would expect to break up in a 5. Yeah, you look like you're forming a triangle in a wave 4, and wave 4s are the most common for triangles. So kind of a very steep triangle in here. Actually, I would even kind of pull it like that. There's your triangle that's forming in a wave 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you would break up. So now we would look at important resistances kind of in this zone in here. Actually, I would be looking from our last corrective range highs, this range in here. Oof. Yeah, value area low is going to be at that golden pocket at 522. And let me just adjust this as well. Yeah, in that general zone there. So, and you have a bunch of liquidity that was created all right here. And then you have a bunch of liquidity that was created all right here. Now, you have one major liquidity grab into your weekly level or around your weekly level. So on the higher time frames, if we're done with the larger correction, you're looking for this to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You want it to start with an impulse, and that would be potentially the start of a bigger 1, 2, maybe, 3, 4, 5, something like that, a bigger move up to sweep some of this that's been created since May. But you're finally starting to see some bullish breaks in market structure on lower time frames by taking out this lower high. So now that's good. You want to see continuation here. If this you really don't want to see this break down and start to hit your golden pocket of your wave 3. So let's pull from the lows of wave 3 to the highs of wave 3. You do not want to hit that golden pocket. And let me make sure that's not on log scale. Okay. Did you hit it already? No. So you want this to continue the triangle and then break up to new local highs. That naked weekly right here at 368 might be where your first wave 5 ends. Your first impulse ends. Oh, and then you got some nice, yeah, you have some very nice volume resistance up in this whole area up here. So, but we won't look at that until you break above that first naked weekly, which is also a naked daily. And then the next thing I would look at is pulling a golden pocket here. You're currently hitting your log golden pocket. That's why we're seeing a little bit of a pullback and consolidation here. Now, let's add the 786 to that. So if this is a wave 4 pullback, your wave 5 is probably going to end in this zone. And this is going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right up here. But we need to be patient because we need to see whether this first move up is impulsive or corrective. If it starts to roll over now and come down and hit that golden pocket, then you're in big trouble. And quite frankly, you're going to continue to make new lows. We are breaking out of the pitchfork, which is a good deal. Your bearish pitchfork, so that's a good deal. Yeah, we just got to see if we're going to break up here. So we can check that next week on River. And I have to remember I used the Bybit chart. Please do smash the like button, guys, if you do get any sort of insight into the markets from this live stream. Bitcoin is front running everything. I know, Snood. It's been super annoying with Bitcoin front runs and double bottoms and double tops. Like double top pretty much right here. Double bottom right here. Like super annoying. I think the market makers are getting smart to people doing liquidity grabs. So they're reversing it like at a double bottom or a double top. SpaceX, I don't know if the bottom is in quite yet, but we just looked at that. So it could be. It really could be because we do have some accumulation that's happened in here and we are starting to break it up. But it all depends on if we come up to this 138 and start to reject, you could make a new low. And once again, because it's such a new asset, I don't like to, from the very beginning, count an impulse down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But that is your target. If you do reject from around 138, you could see new lows. Now, if you break up to this area here, it is still resistance, but I would expect a higher low before making higher highs before continuing up. Bonk's at an all-time low. Man, Paras, Bonk, first of all, it was a meme coin that when the meme is running good, it takes off. But as soon as the meme loses like the interest of like the community or what just loses interest, those things never recover for the most part. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it keeps bleeding to new all-time low after new all-time low. Time Attack, much love to you, man. Welcome in. 135 is the listing price. Expect much resistance there. Okay, yeah, 135 to like 138-ish. I mean, 138 is only a little bit above the listing price. So yeah, that zone is definitely kind of a resistance zone. Wow, 930 million worth of stock got unlocked yesterday. Okay, well, we might see new lows then. Can we take a look at Gram USDT? Yep. Okay. And Diago Carvella, thank you so much for all the super chats, man. I really do appreciate when you give those to me. So Gram USDT on OKX. Long term for spot. Well, we are after the crash that happened, the big crash that happened in October. I mean, that really ruined a lot of crypto assets, right? Like a lot of them went pretty much to zero. So you kind of have to reset everything before that is not as important as what happened after that, because maybe they even changed the name from Telegram to Gram, or from Tel to Gram because of that alone. But you're paying attention to the range that formed after that. Now, long-term spot buys, it is a good idea to start buying around the undervalued portion, value area low. But we have to be aware that this move up here looks like a three-wave corrective move up. So if that's the case, you're likely to take out this low at 112. In that case, you would also be losing the value area low, so you would have to be very careful for continuation down. But man, I mean, let's see here. Yeah, and even there's no way to really count this as an impulse, because this very first move here is a three-wave move. You can see a very clear three-wave move. So we can't even say something like a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Here's your big three. Well, you didn't get more 4 5s afterwards. Plus, it started with a three-wave corrective move. So unfortunately, all indications are that we're probably going to take out this low at 112. But you could see a nice bounce from the value area low first. You might come down, hit this value area low, which is also a naked weekly point of control, and then you might see a decent move up, maybe grabbing some internal liquidity up here before coming down there. Is that a double top? I believe that was kind of... So technically that was an SFP, but it's a very, very shallow SFP, but you are still going to have some liquidity resting now above that high. As far as your money flow goes, because remember, money flow is really, really important to look at kind of long-term spot buys, right? We're still below your prior lows. We did not have a successful liquidity grab because it grabbed liquidity on Tuesday, but couldn't even break market structure. And remember me talking about on Tuesday, Diago, that we wanted to see market structure break in here to really start to get bullish? Well, we didn't end up seeing that. So now it is likely that you're going to take out that Tuesday low and probably hit the value area low. You also have some liquidity in there at 125-ish. Money flow is still bleeding pretty heavily on the daily time frame. Yes, you do have some confirmed bull divs already. Some, but you're also looking like it wants to kind of blow out here. And on NAMI, you had bull divs, but now they're in danger of being invalidated here. Like these bull divs already played out with, well, not really. I mean, you had them. They didn't really play out with much, but it could be real in danger of being invalidated. And NAMI's money flow doesn't look that good either. Yeah, and you don't have bull divs on the weekly on NAMI here. All these multiple drives of bull div played out with a really nice move to the upside here. But after that, you want to create a new drive of bull divs on the weekly. And even to get bull divs on market cipher, you'd want to take out this 112 low, right? You come down here and this does this. You might see some internal bull div from that 112 low. But yeah, it's not looking the best. I mean, it's just continuing to bleed here. Your bull divs that were on the 8 hour that we were looking at on Tuesday, low to low. You had bull divs. They are now invalidated with this. So that's another sign that you're going to probably continue down to value area low. And once again, the bull divs from Tuesday now being invalidated. Overall, though, I think we're going to get a nice bounce from the value area low because look at, even on the 8 hour, you're starting to see the money flow curve up overall. So if we can tap that 125 zone, I do think you are going to get a decent move up. And it's probably going to sweep at least this, right? Probably going to sweep up to 158 at least. Now, I don't want to guarantee that because it's just not getting proper moves here. But yeah, what we could do is you could pull a smaller channel in here. Bring it down to that initial low. So you're just kind of chopping on the 8 hour time frame within this trend here. And this trend is likely to continue chopping in this descending channel until you hit the value area low. And it makes sense going into the weekend. We might just continue doing something like this until you kind of start to form a base in here. Okay, gosh, I am so far behind in the chat. Hold on, guys. Let me see here. Georgie Jorgen, thank you for the comment, man. Appreciate that. All right. All the stocks involved in AI. SpaceX, USDT, Perpetual has some good price action. Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of these stocks are starting to become tokenized, and it's going to be nice to trade some of the, because the stock market has been moving a lot better than crypto lately. So it could be nice to switch over to some stocks every once in a while. RSR. Yeah, we can check this now, guys. I do got to get going soon in about 15 minutes. I will check. Wait, is RSR USDT? Okay. I'll check Bitcoin as soon as I'm done with this here, and then we can kind of develop. Well, we kind of know what Bitcoin's at key resistance, and we need to just watch to see what happens. We didn't get the SFP on Bitcoin, so we could get another local move up to take out that SFP. Yeah, you know, we had a bit of a range in here, and you can see we lost the range. We back tested the value area low. We're dropping, and now we're kind of forming a new range down in here. No, yeah, you did have some 8 hour bull divs. Let me go, or daily bull divs, excuse me. But this thing looks ugly. Yeah, you have an upper range that was in here. You broke that range down. I mean, you're at all-time lows pretty much on this thing. And even this looks like it could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're coming towards the end, potentially, of an impulse to the downside. Let's do our wave 5 targets. You're hitting the 382, the 1.236, excuse me, but you could drop as low as the 1.618 here. And very, very locally, I would just be paying attention to this local daily range, because you can see that it's clearly impulsive price action to the downside here. And this looks corrective so far. So even if this does something like chops for a little bit, and then we get one more leg up, it's still overall going to be another corrective move and then a dump. The key to start to get more bullish on RSR on the daily time frame is to take out this lower high rate in here. At 001483. But I would just be paying attention to this small range until it gets resolved. I don't personally, I'm not looking to trade this, but yeah. Pull that volume profile. I mean, you're at the value area low of the volume profile. You do have some semi-equal highs all in here. I mean, this high got SFP'd here, and then you didn't SFP it here. So you do have some liquidity above the high of the range at like 0.01337. But also look at all of this liquidity that is begging to be taken, this liquidity trail right here. And then you even have some liquidity in here. I would be looking at, if you're looking to trade this small range, that liquidity at the bottom and that liquidity at the top. Other than that, I really wouldn't be paying too much attention to anything inside of this thing. Okay, so you got the SFP, but you now have this as well, like with some barely slightly higher lows. Overall, this thing just looks pretty ugly. Man, Jesus. You're starting to develop weekly bull divs, though, confirmed. I mean, you are at your 1.236. Okay, let me get rid of that one. You're at your 1.236, which is your fifth wave target. If we're looking at this being a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you have bull divs. So that internal low that I just marked out, I mean, you can start to look to, if you're buying this spot, to DCA in, but I would be looking to take that out. If you SFP that, you can look for some longs and look for some spot buys potentially. Yeah, because that's where your golden pocket's going to be as well. Okay, let me check Bitcoin. Bitcoin is doing nothing the entire stream, guys. Why does Bitcoin do this to us? Why Bitcoin? But we are breaking above the value VWAP, and you know it looks like it wants to continue here. But we have to be careful at the golden pocket because it was right around the 1-to-1 trend-based Fibonacci extinction, which we've hit now. Hit that 1-to-1 trend-based Fibonacci extinction. So now if we start to lose the VWAP, I would get real concerned of new lows on the daily, below today's lows. A, B, C, and then you might continue down here. If you lose the VWAP, if you can maintain here, we still have to watch kind of for that double top in here and still a drop, but at least it's a greater probability. The big thing with Bitcoin is pretty much every major exchange did not SFP the 65,360 high. We want to SFP that. And I have alerts set there. So if it happens over the weekend, remember, because we're front running it, there's a less of a chance that it's going to be a successful SFP. It's now more of a chance that it's going to break up and not see an SFP and continue to break up to higher prices. And the next kind of level, big resistance I would be watching. I mean, the 786 was above these highs, which is important. And then if we come up to like 66.4, 66.5, because your anchored VWAP is there, your key major anchored VWAP from 82K, 82.8. And you rejected once from that anchored VWAP at 67. It's going to be your pitchfork band there, so we have to be careful for another potential rejection from that. Okay. Well, this thing was impossible to short when it ran. The whole price action was not squeezing. Okay, there, you guys are just, if the coins have low liquidity, it's very easy to move the market. Yeah, I don't like to trade low liquidity coins, guys. It's just not, it's not smart. Big dump. Okay. Yeah, tokenizing stocks, we're going to see how that is, but you know, that is the future. They're even talking about tokenizing real estate, tokenizing everything. So unfortunately, we are along for the ride. There. All right, I see you guys are just talking amongst yourselves. Have I seen Crow? No, I haven't looked at Crow recently. Crow USD. Oh gosh. Wow, did something happen today? Interesting. I mean, Crow's pretty much at all-time lows, guys. I think it's going to come for its all-time lows. We have this upper range that was in here. We're really starting to lose that now. Losing the value area low, a 3-wave corrective move up to back test that value area low. So yeah, you expected to take out that low. We're so close to the bottom that I would expect that we probably are going to come for the bottom. But if you're bullish on Crow as a company, hey man, it's you're buying at the bottom. You're buying at the absolute lows. Now, that's not to say it can't go lower, right? But I know that Crow like has a lot of majors, they sponsor the UFC. They have they're a real company. So it's not the worst idea to start buying in here, but look at your money flow on the weekly. Actually, I don't know if I'd buy right now with the money flow looking like that. I would rather, for me personally, I'd rather see a bottom. And even if I have to buy higher, I would rather see this money flow starting to curve up and buy higher rather than gamble and try to buy the bottom with this kind of money flow, because this could seriously just keep going. Now, NAMI was seeing really nice bull divs in here, and now we could see another drive, but not confirmed yet. What this looks like to me well, first off, you guys, 3-wave move to start, right? From the lows. Remember what we talk about even with Ethereum. If it starts with a 3-wave move, that is not a good sign. The only way you could have been looking at this bullishly, I don't know, maybe you really couldn't. You would have to look at this as some sort of WX and then some sort of Y in here. But either way, you're looking for a lower high before making another lower low. Because this started from the lows with a larger 3-wave corrective move, it is not a bullish sign. So eventually you're expecting to take out that low. But yeah, I mean, like this really, it's all this price action. This is kind of a sideways range that you're at, and you're losing the value area low for the first time. For the first week, you're potentially closing a weekly candle below it, and meaning you're coming for those lows. That sucks for Crow. I don't know why it's declining so badly here, but it is. Yeah, I mean, it could be the next FTX, right? It sure is looking pretty bad here. Even the daily draining out. And if this daily candle closes this bearish, you are going to see this thing blow out more. And it could potentially invalidate that. It already looks like it is on NAMI. I mean, I would just look for that 0.48. You could set an SFP. Like, you could look for an SFP of that, but I don't know, the weekly money flow looks really bad. And the fact that you're finally starting to lose this value area low, if you close the weekly below this thing, it's not a good sign here. So you had what looks to be an impulse down here, right? You have your impulse down here. You have a corrective move to make a lower high. So yeah, you are expecting to make a lower low. impulse, correction, impulse. Now, this would be really hard to count. You would have to look at this as a W, X, and then some sort of Y in here. A weird double zigzag type of thing. Obviously, like some sort of expanding diagonal, weird double zigzag. But you're so close to the lows anyways, you're super likely to take them out. So guys, for the weekend, I did set some alerts on small coins, but we're at key resistance for Bitcoin. Like this is probably to me the most important resistance on the chart before 67K gets taken out. We broke out of our descending channel. Let me go to the 1 hour. We broke out of the descending channel that we were in. That was kind of this descending channel, right? We broke out of it. We also back tested the POC, held it as support. So we finally came up to the value area high. And at the value area high of the range is where it matters. We also had our golden pocket here, pulled from 67K all the way down to 62K. So it is our big zone of resistance. Depending on what happens here, you could flush down to 61K. I am looking for shorts here, but because we did not grab liquidity and also the high happened while I was sleeping in the middle of the night, I have not shorted this yet. But if we do get the SFP, a confirmed SFP of this high, I am going to enter a short. I'm telling you guys that right now. If we don't get the SFP, then I don't short it. And I look for the next move up. And the next move up, the next even zone I would even consider, any interest at all consider, would be the 786 Fibonacci, because it's right above this liquidity. So pretty much 65.9. And then if we don't get the SFP of that high, like what I would want to see in this move would be an SFP, or you hit the 786 and then you start to lose that high. That's when I would enter, not on the 786, but on the loss of this high. And then the third trade I would be looking at, third possible short I would be looking at, is if we come up to the pitchfork band in the anchored VWAP, I would look for a short, but I would not be looking for a short to take out the lows. I would be looking for a short to come down to back test the value area high and then continue the breakup. So I hope that helps. Yeah. Let me check Chainlink time attack, because we haven't checked Link in a while, and I know you love Chainlink. I love Chainlink overall. Chainlink is doing nothing overall. I mean, so we have the range that goes back to February. You are inside the value area low of the range, but you're really struggling to get back in your pitchfork. You can see this pitchfork that rejected us once here, and we double bottomed, guys. We did not make new lows. Actually, did we? Let me see here. Oop. Actually, it's exact lows. We made exact lows. An exact double bottom there. Let me see if this is. Yeah, so, 7006. Okay, yeah. So we made exact double bottom lows. And we are rejecting from a point of control. Now, as far as our bigger range goes, this range goes all the way back to 2020 for 6 years, literally in August of 2020. So we're 6 years into this upper price action, all of this upper price action. We're at the POC, just like Ethereum's at its 6-year-long POC. That is a good sign, and you are at your accumulation range. This was your prior bear market accumulation range in here. So people that are truly bullish on this asset long-term are willing to buy at fair value of the past 6 years. But there is a real chance that we could drop to the value area low of our major range or the value area low of our accumulation range, which is this small range right in here. And then really you can pay attention to just this small range too is for now. You're rejecting value area high, but you're holding your POC. You really need to hold this POC. And if you do, working your way up to this resistance at 945 to 951 would be nice. But because we have a little bit of overlap between this range and this range, you can take this and pull it to look at both. Yeah, I think so too, man. With an exact double bottom there, I think we are going to take out those lows. But I wouldn't want it to go too much lower. Maybe down to the accumulation range value area low at 610. But I would much rather see an SFP of these double bottom and then like a bigger move up. Let's see. But guys, I do got to get going. Please do hit the like button. Please do subscribe to the channel. Share the videos. Thank you all so much for your support and everything. I know we didn't get to cover everything today, but I will be around next week as well. And remember, if you want to get the updates over the weekend, then join the Telegram. All you have to do is join BYDFI using my affiliate link in the description and deposit a minimum deposit of $100 or more. You can deposit more if you want to get the bigger bonuses, of course. But once you've done that, you click the Telegram link and you type in /verify and then your BYDFI user ID, and that'll get you into the Telegram. So if you guys are in the Telegram, I'll keep you updated throughout the week. And if any alerts go off throughout the weekend, I'll do my absolute best to keep you guys updated. I am going to be on the water on Saturday. So that's tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. So, it's going to be sparse updates, but we'll be on a boat, so I'll still have some access to stuff like that. So keep you guys updated.